Hakai.
Frieza's spaceship travels through space. Inside it, more specifically, inside the training room, as Cooler and Frieza, who are apparently in yet another one of several intense training sessions. Cooler taunts his brother, saying that Frieza is starting to put more effort into their trainings. Doesn't that worry him? But Frieza, with a fake smile on his face, says no. To the contrary, intense training will make him much more stronger. But their conversation is interrupted by Berry Blue, who warns them that their destination is close. Cooler asks Frieza if he should call his soldiers, but Frieza says it's not necessary. On the Zuno's planet, there is nothing threatening for them. The ship finally lands on the planet. Frieza and Cooler leave surrounded by many soldiers, but something is wrong. They feel a very powerful energy in that place. Cooler asks his brother if he can feel it too. Frieza says yes, and they should be careful. They fly across the planet and Frieza sees something. They were brutally murdered, and when the two land, they see that those people who have served Zuno are dead. As they advance, they see a monster similar to a chimera, and that monster is holding Zuno in its mouth. On top of this monster is a strange creature, and when the creature looks to the brothers, they get very tense. Frieza says that just the presence of that person makes his body feel heavy, and Cooler asks his younger brother if he thinks they can beat this thing. Frieza says he doesn't know. He never felt such a presence of pressure before. But the creature begins to show an weird personality. The monster with a personality a little cheesy tells them not to worry. He just wants the chubby little guy there. This behavior leaves Frieza and Cooler a little shocked, and Frieza comments that Guy had a bit of eccentric behavior. That strange person says goodbye, takes a card that has some strange design on it. He throws that card on the floor and a magic rune appears, and then he enters together with the monster and Zuno in that magic rune. After that, they disappear. Apparently, it was like a magical dimensional portal. Frieza scolds Cooler, why didn't he do anything? But Cooler says he still hasn't processed that situation very well. But they weren't the only ones there. On an asteroid close to the planet, someone was watching. This person in thought says that if Zuno is being targeted, that means the next target will be Super Dragon Balls. Suddenly, the Super Dragon Balls are completely destroyed. The person responsible for this was a woman who says it's good to be able to blow things up again, especially these damn relics. She's accompanied by 3 other mysterious people. One of them calls her Tyra, saying she did a good job. Now, Zarama's magic cannot be used in this realm. And that's how the Super Dragon Balls were destroyed by 4 mysterious enemies. And what did they mean about Zarama's magic not being usable? Now on the planet Shiriaru, Granolah is arriving at Monito's house. He enters very angry, which causes curiosity in the old Namekian. Granolah explains that on his last mission, he discovered that Frieza is still alive. This is clearly a reference to the Dragon Ball Super manga, when in chapter 68, Granolah found from Eric that Frieza was alive. And this conversation is a reworked version of the scene where Granolah talks to Monito about Frieza's rebirth in chapter 69. Well, when Granolah tells Monito that Frieza is alive, the Namekian tells him not to do something stupid. If he tries to fight Frieza, he will be killed. But Granolah says he can't let Frieza go unpunished. He needs to pay for what he did, just like the Saiyans. But suddenly the Dragon Ball in Monito's house suffers a strange incident. Granolah asks what's going on, and before long the orb turns to stone. Granolah walks to the orb and takes it in hand. Apparently in this Dragon Ball Hakai reality, he won't be able to ask to be the strongest in the universe, which means the Granolah arc won't happen. Monito is feeling strange for some reason. He feels something really bad. Now on planet Namek, the Grand Elder is sitting on his throne, if we can call it that. He is very reflective when a Namekian comes to his house and says that for some reason, the Dragon Balls have suddenly stopped working. The Elder, like Monito, feels something strange, something very bad. Now on planet Earth. On the celestial platform, Dende is reflective, apparently very worried about something. Popo approaches Kami-sama and asks what's going on. The Earth God doesn't answer to his assistant. He just thinks that he feels the Dragon Balls have stopped working and that he has a sense of loss he can't explain. And by telepathy, he asks someone if he felt it too. The person Dende asked this was Piccolo, who was reflecting on a rock next to his house. Piccolo, receiving Dende's telepathic question, says yes. For some reason he can't explain. He also senses that something very bad is about to happen. Meanwhile, at the place where the Super Dragon Balls were destroyed, that person who kidnapped Zuno finally appears. The creature arrives at the location through the magical portal it opened on the Zuno's planet. Arriving at the companions and seeing that the orbs have already been destroyed, the creature complains, saying that it missed the show. Another member of the group, upon seeing Zuno's kidnapper, comments that apparently the other mission was also successful. The woman named Tyra comments that without Zarama's magical power, at Zuno's knowledge, they sure won't be able to resist them. She's definitely talking about the 12 universes. But the strange man who is appearing to be the leader of the group says that they had a big victory today, but it is better not to underestimate their enemies. And after saying that, he tells his companions that it's time to leave before those rats get in the way. Who is he talking about? Some hours later, a door to a strange room opens. When a person enters this door, another person asks, "How was it, master?" In the center of this room is a large table with several chairs, but only 2 of those chairs are occupied. One of the people who is sitting answers the question that the other has just asked, saying that by the look on the master's face, it certainly didn't go well. The so-called master, as he walks towards the table, says that they were deceived. The celestial mages did not return to their realm, but to Zeno's realm. Rajan, the great mage of invocations, kidnapped Zeno, and now the Super Dragon Balls were destroyed. One of the people sitting, who is revealed to be a man with spiky hair similar to Vegeta's, says he warned him. The master says he did his best for them to be cautious, keeping the apprentices on alert, but without confirmation that the enemies were indeed in Zeno's realm. He couldn't take any more serious action. Furthermore, this was no time for accusations. Zuno was kidnapped, and the Super Dragon Balls were destroyed. Zuno's realm was without a doubt the greatest source of information and the greatest source of magic power. The spiky-haired man says that if the master knows who kidnapped Zuno, it's because he saw it happen. Why didn't he stop Rajan? The master, apparently bothered by all the questioning, replies that apparently his Saiyan blood will still speak louder than his wisdom by the looks of it. He knows very well that a fight between himself and a celestial mage could cause the destruction of the entire Universe 7. He could never start a battle of such a level without the permission of the gods of the universe. The spiky-haired man argues against the master, saying that he would rather lose Zuno than break a simple rule. He liked his primal blood better. The third person at the table finally decides to say something. He intervenes in the discussion to side with the master, saying that the master of the Celestial Guardians cannot afford to break rules. He did very well. That's what Master Anzen would do. And just to remind you, this group called Celestial Guardians was the same one that appeared in chapter 1 of the manga, and Anzen was the man who was trying to link 2 strange boxes and was stopped by a mysterious enemy. Continuing with the scene, this man who spoke in defense of the master asked if he has discovered anything about Janemba. The master, finally searching the main chair at the table, pulls the chair to sit down while reporting yes. He found the silence of the Guardians in Universe 7's Hakai world strange. He went there and found them dead. And here the master refers to the events that happened in chapter 4 and 5 of the manga, when Frieza and his subordinates went to the demon realm and stole Janemba's cocoon. The master continues telling the story, saying that after finding the 3 guardians dead, he went to Zuno to find out if whoever had done that was the celestial mages or not. But irony of fate, the thieves of Janemba cocoon were there. It was the mortal Frieza and another mortal who, from what he heard, was called Cooler. From what he understood, they also went after Zuno's wisdom. Hearing this report, the spiky-haired man is again angry. Why didn't the master take Janemba? That would be an easy one for him, as stealing candy for a baby. But the master again justifies himself by the rules, saying that his companion knows very well that mortals, whether good or bad, are citizens of a universe, and they, celestial guardians, are mediators of the realms. They cannot harass them without the permission of their respective gods. To do so would be a diplomatic offense. But the questioner says these rules are ridiculous. He doesn't think they should follow them so rigidly. But the master replies that is why he is the master and not him. The other with irony says that he is a great master. After all, he's only seen defeat since he took over. The master does not accept this offense silently, and with the same irony asks what victories your majesty had as a leader. This makes the man very angry, and hitting the table, he stands up while transforming into a form that looks like the Super Saiyan Blue. The other man on the table apparently doesn't approve of this, and so he too stands up, emanating an aura of ki. And well, there's no way to know exactly what that is, but on the surface this man has angel-like traits, and this aura could be something like the Ultra Instinct. In any case, he scolds the Saiyan, saying that he doesn't think it's appropriate to raise ki before the master. The Saiyan is clearly worried about this reaction, and after both stare at each other for a few seconds, they back off. After that, the angel-like guardian opines, saying that he thinks it's better to seek solutions than criticisms at this time, and he asks the master what he intends to do. But before listening to the master's answer, it suggests that the time for being discreet is over, and they need to alert Zeno's realm of events so that the correct measures can be taken. The master agrees. He says that they must alert the authorities immediately. The kidnapping of Zuno and the destruction of the Super Dragon Balls can mean nothing but war. And in this moment, we can see that this master's identity, he is Peon. Sure, surely a remake of the character. Meanwhile, in Universe 7, Beerus is fishing in the planet's lake while Whis watches him, and the Oracle fish sleeps in the aquarium. Whis, bothered by something, says that Vegeta has been in that place for 2 weeks. 2 weeks, Beerus says. He didn't even notice. Whis continues saying that at this point, the oxygen aura he put around Vegeta must be running out. And if he still hasn't come back, it's because he's either dead or he's having a hard time. But so what? Nobody told him to be an idiot. He was so jealous by Goku becoming a god and gaining new powers that he wanted to resort to such dangerous methods to evolve faster. Anything bad that happens is his fault. In his thoughts, Whis reflects on where Vegeta is, the anti-life dimension, the most harmful place that can exist in the universe, a dimension where the universe sends everything it discards to avoid its own destruction. It is such a bad place that even the gods of destruction avoid going there, because even these deities feel uncontrollable with the adversities of that place. That's where Vegeta went 2 weeks ago. But Whis decides to speak again, and this time to provoke Beerus, saying that he's nervous because Vegeta has been in that dimension for much longer than he managed to stay the first time he entered. Beerus tells the angel not to talk nonsense. He was there for the first time millions of years ago. Vegeta is still light years away from him. Suddenly, this conversation is interrupted by the Oracle fish, who shouts, "Death! Lots of death!" Beerus asks what he's talking about. The fish continues, "Very powerful enemies. Death! A lot of death! The universes are in danger!" Beerus approaches the fish, but he sleeps again. But suddenly, the sound of thunder can be heard. Many lightning strikes from the sky, and then a big tornado. That worries Beerus. A lot of energy was accumulating there, and then he tells Whis that if it's spread out, the universe will. But Angel already knows. And by invoking his staff, he forms a protective globe around that area. A large amount of energy is released at that location, creating a huge explosion. But everything is contained by the force field created by Whis. After it's all over and Whis undoes the force field, we can see Vegeta, who is extremely injured. It doesn't take long for the Saiyan to finally pass out, falling to the ground. Beerus in disbelief asks Whis if Vegeta destroyed that entire dimension. The angel confirms, which makes the god of destruction complain this guy has no limits, but he discreetly smiles, perhaps an admiring smile. Whis tells Beerus he's going to take care of Vegeta. In the meantime, he'd better go to the meeting of the gods or else he'll be late. This scares Beerus. He forgot the meeting. A few minutes later, Whis has already healed Vegeta, changed his clothing, and is now putting him to bed. Whis, in thought, says that Vegeta was so exhausted that the amount of ki in his body was less than 5%. Almost every bone in his body is broken or fractured, and his organs are severely damaged. If not for the angel's care, the Saiyan Prince would be dead in literally a few minutes. All this just for the desire to become the strongest. Mortals are really fascinating, but Whis' musings are interrupted when he receives a call from his staff. He realizes that there's definitely something serious going on. In Universe 6, Vados has apparently created 4 cubes that appear to be made with Kachin. Meanwhile, Goku is waiting. He tells her to start. Vados throws the 4 cubes against the Saiyan god. Goku fires 2 Hakai energy balls, which completely explode the first 2 cubes. After that, Goku goes up to the 3rd cube and, touching it with his hands, again uses the Hakai, but this time turns the metal into dust. And lastly is hit by the 4th block, which has been thrown with such force that even the god of destruction is being dragged away. But he again uses the Hakai, this time making the big metal cube disappear completely. After getting rid of all the cubes, Goku turns to Vados and gives her a like. Sometime later, Goku has already been healed by Vados, and now he's sitting down for another class. Vados explains that there are a few ways the Hakai can be used: by blowing up the target, turning the target to dust, and making the target disappear completely. Goku, in 2 months of training, has already managed to learn all these forms, and for that, Vados congratulates him, saying that it took Champa about a year to be able to do this. Goku thanks her and says that Vados' training is amazing, but Vados says that there is something that Goku must understand very well: the essence of the energy of destruction. Goku is confused. Vados had told him once that destruction, energy, and Hakai were different things, but he didn't quite understand. Vados explains that the energy of destruction is a source of energy, while Hakai is a product of that energy. And to exemplify, she says it's like Kamehameha, which is done through ordinary ki energy. In this comparison, the energy of destruction is like ki, and Kamehameha is like Hakai. Vados also says that the energy of destruction can be simulated with training, like Vegeta and Topo-to, but this simulation cannot be compared to the true energy of destruction that the gods of destruction have. Goku asks why that energy of destruction is so different from ordinary ki, and why he feels so bad every time he uses that energy, and it's always so hard to control. Vados says that in fact this energy is very different from ordinary ki or divine ki. That's because the true energy of destruction is a living energy. Goku asks what she means by living energy. She explains that when this energy is inserted into someone's body, it takes the form of a spiritual being with its own consciousness and desires. This means that ever since Goku received this energy within him in the ritual, another creature has come into existence with him. Goku is shocked. There's a ghost inside him? Vado says that the best comparison is that there's a demon inside him, because the energy is made up of pure destructive and negative desire. And worse, the spiritual being doesn't just want to live in Goku's body, but to dominate it. Goku asks if this is what happened to him during the fight against Krista. She confirms, and she also explains that in order to keep the energy under control, Goku's body unconsciously uses his ki to suppress this energy. The less control Goku has over this power, the more energy his body needs to keep this creature under control. And as a result, the amount of energy and power he can use in battle is less. At the time when he found Krista, Goku had very little control over his power, so the percentage of the total power he could use in that fight was very low. As Krista pressured Goku into battle, he ended up exceeding the limit of power he could use, and so the energy of destruction managed to momentarily take control. He was possessed. But Goku says that in this last month of training, he managed to control his power as a god of destruction much better. That means that now he can use more power, right? Vados confirms, saying that the amount of power he can use has increased considerably, and now the level of power he can use is already higher than the total power he used during the Tournament of Power. She goes on and says that now Goku is at least the 5th most powerful among the gods of destruction. Goku gets really excited about those words from his master, saying he wants to train more and more. Vados laughs. He's really very different from Champa, but unfortunately they had to stop. After all, had he forgotten that he had to go to the meeting of the gods of destruction? Goku had forgotten, but he didn't want to go. What would he do there? Vado says that actually the purpose of these meetings is for the gods to talk about matters pertaining to work, involving the universes, about work experiences and things like that. But since angels traditionally don't attend these meetings to make the gods more comfortable, what actually happens is that they talk about silly things and make silly disputes. Goku, knowing about the disputes that are made, is more excited. Maybe he can fight someone there. Vados suddenly receives a call, similar to what happened to Whis, like I said in the previous video. She deduced that something important is going on and says, as Goku doesn't know the meeting place, he's going to take him there quickly, and then go meet the Grand Priest. Between each of the 12 universes, there is a planet that is considered a neutral base. This planet is even tougher than the Supreme Planet, and also tougher than the Planet of Destruction. On these planets, the millenary meetings of the gods of destruction are held. Inside the planet, Likir and Hellas hold bows. Hela says she's the best archer in all the universes, but Likir assures her that she's the best for now. On the other side of the planet is Sidra, who agrees to serve as a target for the two just to show the power of his shield and also his incredible speed. The first shot is coming. The destroyer of the 9th universe notices and deflects. The shot goes straight through, destroying a mountain and who knows what else. Sidra recognizes that shot as Likir's arrow, and it was very easy to dodge. However, another shot follows and it hits the destroyer, cracking his shield. That was Hellas' arrow, which according to Sidra was so accurate that it didn't destroy anything in its path. So discreet that he didn't see it coming, and so strong that it cracked his shield, which is the most powerful shield among the gods. Hellas brags to Likir, she's the best. Meanwhile, Rumshi and Moscow are having a power struggle, which seems like a sumo wrestling match. Both gods put in a lot of effort, and it apparently is a little further from seeing a victor. Arak, Jin, and Iwan talk, and in that conversation the destroyer of Universe 1 reveals that it has been approximately 10 million years since he has cut his hair. He's cute like that, isn't he? Well, Jin and Arak decide not to answer. Meanwhile, Beerus and Kitela are in another deadly arm wrestling match. Belmont watching says he will face whoever wins, or rather, he will face Kitela. Beerus tells the destroyer of Universe 11 to shut up, he will win. But the truth is that Belmont doesn't want anyone to win, because if that happens, he's going to have to do some work. But suddenly, the relaxed atmosphere becomes very tense. Something catches the attention of the 11 gods of destruction present in that place. What catches everyone's attention is the arrival of the 12th destroyer, Son Goku, who upon arriving and realizing that everyone is staring at him, is very apprehensive, realizing that they still don't like him. Goku runs to Beerus asking him to help him get along with the guys, but Beerus tells him to leave. He doesn't want to embarrass himself with the others. As if he were popular, Kitela says. The atmosphere starts to get even more tense. That's because the gods start to complain about Goku's presence. Jin sneers at the novice's arrival. Likir says that as if all the trouble he caused wasn't enough, he still became a god. But Goku asks his comrades to calm down. He didn't want to be a god. But Rumshi doesn't believe it, After all, did he start flattering Zeno for nothing? Iwan tries to pacify the situation, saying that Goku is now a colleague and they need to get along. Hellas agrees and says that having a handsome god at these gatherings is a rare thing, and a lady like her is grateful for that. Sidra falsely agrees, saying that it would really be nice for them to welcome their new colleague, and he says that by raising his energy. Kutella agrees and does the same. Beerus goes to Goku's side. Not that he cares about this idiot, but he doesn't like to see cowardice. Goku smiles. He was already tired of just training. It would be good to fight. The planet trembles with the release of energy from the gods of destruction. Kutella is the first to advance, but they all stop when a tube of light falls on the planet. Goku asks if Beerus is feeling that, and the destroyer of Universe 7 says yes. Whoever it is, it's very powerful. The one who just arrived is Peon, who tells the gods that they need to talk. When the 12 gods of destruction are gathered, the first thing Peon does is talk to Goku, acknowledging him as a Saiyan who made a remarkable and memorable participation in the Tournament of Power. He says that he had heard that Goku had become a god of destruction, but because of the problems that had arisen recently, he didn't have time to dwell into the matter, but congratulates Goku. The Saiyan is surprised to be so famous, but thanks for the congratulations. Peon says that as Goku is a new god, he probably hasn't had time to dwell into the history of the universes yet, so he'll explain it briefly for Goku to understand, and the other gods will also understand what's going on. Peon begins by explaining that a long time ago, what they call existence was a great void, but 7 extremely powerful creatures called supreme deities were born. One of these deities, they known very well, is the Grand Zeno. Goku's first doubt arises at that moment. Wasn't Zeno the supreme being of all the universes? Is there anyone as powerful as him? Peon explains that Zeno really is an absolute being in the 12 universes. However, the 12 universes form only one realm, which is known as Zeno's realm. But there are 6 other realms besides this one, ruled by other supreme deities. Goku is very surprised, so the 12 universes are just part of everything that exists. Peon says yes. The 12 universes form just one realm out of 7. In each realm, there are its own universes, divine hierarchy and all that. And each realm is ruled by a supreme deity, just as the realm is ruled by Zeno. But there's actually an exception to all this. Peon says that many years ago, before any of them existed, one of the supreme deities called Zarat, who was very greedy, wanted to expand his domains. He wanted to conquer another realm. As Zeno's kingdom was the weakest among all, Zarat decided to attack there with his hordes. But Goku wonders, shouldn't it have been easy to defeat him? Zeno can erase everything and everyone without difficulty. Why didn't he erase Zarat and his soldiers? But it wasn't that simple. Peon explained that Zeno's absolute power to erase all things only works in his own realm, and only to those who belong to his realm. He cannot do this to anything or anyone belonging to another realm, especially against the supreme deity. In short, Zeno is really absolute in his own realm for being able to erase everything and everyone as he pleases. But he has no martial skills, and so he was completely vulnerable to Zarat, who unlike him, possessed unimaginable abilities. Peon says it was a very difficult war, but with the help of the other realms, Zeno's realm was able to repel Zarat's attack, and he was sealed and his power was divided into 5 very powerful creatures called the 5 primordial beasts. And each one of these beasts has powers superior to the gods of destruction. These beasts were divided and hidden throughout the Zeno realm universes. Goku is surprised again. Are there other beings in the universes besides the angels and Zeno that surpass the gods of destruction so much? And then he asks Beerus if he knew all that. Beerus says yes, he has vast knowledge about all that, but Liquor noticed the lie. Peon continues with the story, saying that after Zarat was sealed, his realm, without the presence of a supreme deity, became a great chaos. Wanting to solve this problem, the 5 great celestial mages, who were the most powerful gods in the realm of Zarat, decided to restore balance by bringing Zarat back. And so they invaded Zeno's realm, creating a war to collect cocoons of the 5 primordial beasts. But this time, Zeno's realm was much more organized, and all the gods of all the universes fought together against the celestial mages and managed to seal them away. Jin interrupts the explanation, telling Peon not to be modest. That's because according to the story, he was mainly responsible for the victory against the celestial mages. This impresses Goku. Peon is apparently really very powerful. Peon tells them to ignore the details so they don't waste time. Belmont agrees not wasting time was a good idea. It was nice to remember the history classes, but it was time for Peon to explain why he was there. Then Peon finally says, the celestial mages have been freed. All the gods of destruction are absolutely shocked by this news. Arak questions Peon whether the celestial mages under the watch of the celestial guardians. Peon confirms, but recently the celestial guardians were attacked in a moment of weakness, which resulted in the death of the previous master, Anzen, and also the release of the celestial mages. Beerus is suspicious about that moment of weakness. This smells like betrayal, and that means Peon's group isn't that reliable at the moment. Peon agreed that there is an enemy infiltrator in the celestial world, and not even they, the celestial guardians, are completely trustworthy. Goku is completely lost. Celestial world? Celestial guardians? What is all this? But Beerus tells him to shut up. Nobody wants to explain everything to him. But Likir unmasks the destroyer of Universe 7. He's only saying that because he doesn't know very well either. Apparently, Beerus is not the most studious among the gods, which is expected of him. Iwan says that from what Peon is saying, the celestial mages' escape doesn't seem to have been that recent. Why is it just now that this news is being given? Peon justifies it by saying after the mages escaped, there was no way to be sure where they had gone, and he did not want to worry the other realms unnecessarily with speculation. But the truth is that they, the Guardians, had hoped to find mages before the news got out. But recently they got confirmation that the mages were in Zeno's realm. That's because Zeno was kidnapped and the Super Dragon Balls were destroyed. This was an act of war. Kutella, very angry, scolds Beerus. How did he let all that happen in his universe? But the destroyer justifies it by saying that the universe is so big. Goku remembers that there were also orbs in his universe. Could it be that the enemies were there and he didn't notice? But Peon says there's no time for discussion. Now that the celestial mages have Zuno, they will discover the location of the 5 primordial beast cocoons, and that cannot happen. There are 2 beasts in Universe 7, one in Universe 6, one in Universe 8, and one in Universe 11. All gods who have a beast in their territory need to find the cocoons immediately. Hellas asks what should the gods do who don't have any beasts in their universes. Peon says that they must also return to their universes as the angels are in a meeting with the Grand Priest, who gathered them all after he, Peon, explained the situation. That is, at this moment, the universe is very vulnerable, and that is why it is important that the destroyers return. Beerus tells them to stop stalling and do what they're supposed to do. Before they go, one last warning especially to the gods who will go after the cocoons. It is possible that they will be attacked by the celestial mages, so they must be prepared for an extremely dangerous combat. This strangely cheers up Goku, and after the last warning from the master of the Celestial Guardians, everyone leaves towards their respective universes. The chapter begins in a mysterious castle situated in a forgotten dimension of the multiverse. Someone screams inside the castle. Damn! Inside the castle are gathered 5 people, the 5 great celestial mages. The person who yelled is anxious. She taps her finger on the table to control her anxiety. Then she gives up and slams her hand on the table and then addresses the person next to her, saying that she, Brajin, is an incompetent. And she asks what Brajin did to him. Brajin is the same person who kidnapped Zuno, and she assures him she didn't do anything to him. A memory showing the moment of the capture of the omniscient creature from Universe 7 appears. Zuno is face to face with the creature that belongs to Brajin, and the creature roars next to him. Zuno is thrown by the monster's roar, hits his head on a pillar and passes out. But Brajin assures her that her pet only wanted to scare Zuno, but he was so weak she didn't mean any harm. Tyra says her companion was an idiot. If Zuno was okay, the beast would already be with them, but now the situation has given the enemies time to act. The mysterious man, who is apparently the leader of the group, warns Zuno just woke up, and since Brajin and Tyra are so worried about the situation, they should go get the necessary information from him. The two look at who gave the order, and apparently there have been some respect and fear for that person. Zuno is trapped in the castle's dungeon, and from the shadows comes Tyra, who asks if he knows why they are there. Zuno says that he knows. They want information about the 5 great primordial beasts. Tyra creates an energy blade in her hand and threatens Zuno. Now he's going to say everything he knows. But after thinking for a few seconds, he gives his answer, no. And this answer leaves her very shocked. Zuno explains that he won't say anything until someone kisses him, preferably someone handsome. Tyra gets very angry. Does this bastard know who he's talking to? Is he not afraid to die? Zuno says that after Frieza threatened him for information, he felt very bad for his cowardice, and after that, he dedicated himself to intense mental training to no longer fear death. Threats will no longer work against him. Besides, if they kill him, they'll never get what they want. Tyra raises her blade. She's going to teach him a lesson, but Brajin intervenes, flinging her companion away. If a kiss is what the chubby guy wants, she'll give it to him, even because she loves fluffy cheeks. But it's not exactly what Zuno wants. He doesn't want a kiss from someone that's ugly. Brajin is very hurt by that. Why did he call her a demon? It's not her fault if she only had that thing to use. Tyra now wants to join in the fun too. She throws Brajin away, throws part of her clothes to the floor, and shows off her feminine attributes, stating that she can be wild in other ways too. She kisses Zuno and asks him how he feels about receiving a kiss from a goddess. Zuno thinks about it, and then he gives the result of the divine kiss. 2 questions. Tyra is shocked by that. Is he kidding? But no, he's not kidding. With that answer, she has just one more question. What? Did that count as a question? And yes, that counted as a question. And now the 2 questions from Tyra, who doesn't take the situation very well, are over. But that situation is interrupted by a third person who mocks the 2 champions, saying that they are 2 amateurs. He'll show you how to deal with someone like him. This man points his hand at Zuno and accumulates energy. Tyra and Brajan are worried. Is he going to do that? A light can be seen. Zuno screams, and when he opens his eyes, he got a harem. Enraptured by the beautiful women kissing him, Zuno gives his answer. They can do 100, no, 1,000 questions. But apparently, that only happened in its mind. An illusion. Tyra and Brajan are shocked, while the third mage smiles and brags no one is better at it than he is. After the meeting of the 12 gods of destruction, where the leader of the celestial guardians gave all the deities a quest, they return to their respective universes to collect the cocoons of the 5 great primordial beasts or prepare for a possible battle. In Universe 7, Beerus and Peon fly through space. Beerus is clearly not very pleased with this situation and asks why among so many universes the Guardian wanted to go to his universe right away. Peon explains that he thinks Universe 7 deserves special attention. That's where Zuno and the Super Dragon Balls were, and there are also 2 primordial beasts there. It was also this universe that the mages attacked first, and they will probably pay special attention to this universe, as it was the universe that won the Tournament of Power and became the most outstanding among them all. But then Peon reveals that in addition to the logical reasons, there is also a sentimental reason. This universe was the one he ruled over. This surprises Beerus. Was Peon once the god of this universe? The head of the Celestial Guardians confirmed he was the first god of destruction of Universe 7. He was the master of Taron, the master of Beerus. Just opening a parenthesis, Taron is a character that has appeared in Dragon Ball Hakai. He is one of the main characters of a special Dragon Ball Hakai story that tells the past of Beerus and how he became a god of destruction. Anyway, Peon continues talking to Beerus, saying that maybe Whis talked about him. After all, he was the one who trained him. Beerus starts to remember on second thought. Peon's name sounded familiar to him, but he couldn't remember very well. The current destroyer is scolded by his predecessor, who says that Beerus should be more aware of the history of his universe, and knowing the gods that came before him was basic knowledge. This angers Beerus, who now believes more than ever that Peon was Taron's master. After all, he's just as boring. Peon, not liking Beerus' attitude, says that he is now confirming what Taron said. Beerus is a hardhead, but that information leaves Beerus confused. How did Taron talk about him to Peon if, when he was born, Peon was already dead for a long time? This question generates another rebuke for Beerus. He should be more attentive. Taron, like Peon, was killed by a corrupted god. That means they were reunited after death. And also Taron became a heavenly guardian too. They worked together all these years. With this speech from Peon, we can conclude that gods who die at the hands of corrupted gods go to a different place, probably to the celestial world that was mentioned in the last chapter. Continuing with the dialogue, Beerus asks how his master is doing. Dead, replies Peon, saying that he died in the last attack the celestial guardian suffered, just like almost all the other guardians. This information clearly saddens Beerus. In Dragon Ball, after a mortal dies, the body can be kept in the other world, but if it is killed again, it disappears completely. If this concept is repeated with dead gods, Taron and all the other celestial guardians can never be seen again. Meanwhile, in Universe 6, Goku arrives on his planet despite the urgency of the situation. The Saiyan god is very excited since apparently very powerful people will go to his universe. He will be able to face these people. All he needs to do is find this primordial beast, and Vados will help him do that. But there's a small problem with this plan. Vados is not there. What will Goku do now? He has no idea where the primordial beast cocoon is, and he doesn't know this universe very well yet. But then he has an idea. The Supreme Kai Lei can help. All he needs to do is go to her and ask for help. But there's a problem with that plan too. He doesn't know where the sacred planet of this universe is. But Goku starts to remember something. Vados has said something about this planet before. Some days before, Goku is thoughtful. He wonders how long it will take for him to become stronger than Beerus. But Goku's thoughts are interrupted by Vados, who says he should pay attention because knowing the universe is very important. Goku is very sincere. He says he got distracted because the class was too boring. Seeing that her student wasn't exactly a studious genius, Vados decides to change the method and appeal to a more concise and visual explanation. She creates with her a staff, a hologram showing the design of the globe of the universe. And this globe that Vados is showing is really the macroverse of Dragon Ball, detailed in official guides of the franchise. Vados explains that beneath everything on the globe is the Hakai world, the same world that Frieza and Cooler stole Janemba's cocoon from. Above the Hakai world is the world of the living, where Earth and all the other planets are. Above this world is the cosmos, or the other world. Is in the other world where the King Kai and Emma Dio lives. Also, is there where the Snake Way is, and also those things we saw when Goku was dead. Outside this globe, revolving around it, is the Kai dimension, and at the center of this dimension is the sacred planet of the Supreme Kais. According to Vados, the planet of destruction is also outside the globe, between the cosmos and the world of the living. And this last information is not information from official guides. It's a new concept of Dragon Ball Hakai. Never was explained in official guides where the planet of destruction is situated in the globe. Returning to the present moment, Goku now knows what to do. He just needs to focus on what's outside the globe. If he does, he'll be able to find Leai's energy more easily. Goku manages to find it, after which he thanks Vados for her teachings and disappears from the planet. Meanwhile, on the sacred planet, Leai is on the ground and Kiboru is standing before her with a sword in her hand. They are clearly training. Leai is determined and gets up to continue, but just as the two are about to cross swords again, Goku appears and, well, they're going to need new swords. Goku rubs his head. He says he didn't want to come suddenly like this, but then they didn't need to try to kill him. Leai yells at the destroyer. He shouldn't suddenly appear like this. He scared them away. Kiboru asks why Goku was there, and he responds saying he needs their help and it's urgent. Meanwhile, on Universe 7's planet of destruction, a large rock floats in the planet's sky, and suddenly that rock is completely destroyed. Who did this was Vegeta, who is now controlling his Hakai much better. Suddenly, two people arrive on the planet. It's Beerus and Peon. Beerus is surprised that Vegeta is already on his feet. Vegeta explains that when he woke up, he was already completely healed, so he decided to go back to training. This causes Beerus to smile, saying that Saiyans are really tough. Looking at Peon, Vegeta in his thoughts notes that Peon, despite not emanating energy, can feel that the monstrous power he has, and his presence is even more intense than Beerus. Seeing Vegeta looking at Peon, Beerus introduces the visitor and explains he has come to resolve some matters in this universe. Peon so far hasn't said anything. He was looking for something he didn't find, and we found out he was looking for Whis. But apparently he was still at the Angel's meeting. That's a shame since he wanted to see the Angel. Vegeta, curious, asks if he knows Whis. Peon replies yes, he was the first god of destruction in this universe, and Whis was his master. The information surprises Vegeta. He's the first god of destruction? But Beerus interrupts the conversation by saying that they should get straight to what really matters. He asks what Peon intends to do. Peon tells his plan. They go after Janemba. This beast is in the possession of Frieza, a mortal from Universe 7, so he wants Beerus to deal with his own mortals. Vegeta listens to everything like a good gossip, thinks that Frieza was taking a long time to cause some trouble, but Beerus doesn't quite understand. If there are two primordial beasts in Universe 7, why do the two go after Janemba? Who goes after the same part of Majin Buu? And guys, for those who forgot, it was already informed in Dragon Ball Hakai that the Majin Buu we know is only a small fraction of Majin Buu's real power. Apparently, most of Buu's power is still locked in a cocoon, just like Janemba. Upon Beerus' question, Peon says not to worry about Majin Buu. The Celestial Guardian deduced that the gods would cooperate, so he stepped forward and sent another guardian to take Majin Buu's cocoon. Peon assures him he's in good hands. The manga cuts to another place in Universe 7, a place called Planet Magma. Inside that planet, we can all see a big sea of volcanic lava, and out of that sea of lava emerges one of the Celestial Guardians, and he's carrying a cocoon that is probably Majin Buu's original cocoon. Meanwhile, back at the planet of destruction, we see that Beerus isn't so happy about it. He didn't like the idea of Peon assuming his decisions and acting on his own, but something was strange. If someone else was already sent to get Majin Buu's cocoon, why did Peon come with him? Wouldn't he keep one of the beasts just like Vermouth, Liquor, and Goku? When Beerus asks this, Vegeta discovers that Goku is also involved in this whole situation, as are the other gods. Poor Vegeta, nobody explains anything to him. Peon replies to Beerus that they chose not to leave any of the beasts in Universe 7. That universe, as he already explained, will be targeted by mages for other reasons. So they want to reduce the nuisance. What's more, unfortunately it's well known that the destroyer of Universe 7 is a very negligent god, so taking Majin Buu and Janemba along is a safety issue too. The atmosphere becomes tense, and Beerus admits that he liked Peon more when he couldn't remember who he was. Beerus puts his hand on the sash around his waist and tosses something to Vegeta. Looking at what it was, Vegeta sees that it was a earring. But what is it for? Beerus explains that earring is proof that he can use the power of a god of destruction. Using that, it's as if Vegeta represents him. This scene is a clear reference to Granolah's arc, where Beerus does the same thing after teaching Vegeta the Hakai, but Peon doesn't understand that. Why was Beerus doing that? The Destroyer replies that Vegeta will carry out this mission in his place. This decision is disapproved by Peon, who says that giving such an important job to a mortal is gross negligence. But Beerus asks what the surprise is. Isn't he known for being a careless god? Besides, Peon is no longer the god of that universe. His time has passed. Now he's the one making the decisions, and he's decided to get some sleep. Beerus turns his back on the Guardian and says goodbye, telling Vegeta that he leaves everything in his hands. Meanwhile, Peon criticizes him severely, stating that he is a disappointment, and not even half of what his master was. As Beerus leaves, Vegeta puts the earring in his ear and asks Peon how he intends to get to Frieza. Peon admits he doesn't know how to find him. When he saw Frieza on Zuno's planet, it was a coincidence. But if Vegeta knows him, he must know how to find him through Ki. Vegeta says that Frieza is definitely far from the planet. He could even take them to Frieza with the instant transmission, but there's no way to feel Frieza's energy from that place, even more if he's not releasing energy with intensity. But Peon says he's going to help the Saiyan. He should just focus on Frieza's energy right now. Vegeta does so, and then the Guardian touches his shoulder, which makes the prince very uncomfortable. Peon tells him to calm down. He's just going to use an ability that will amplify Vegeta's senses, so he can find Frieza even if he's far away. Vegeta accepts, but he doesn't really like it. This guy is very inconvenient, but it worked. Vegeta found Frieza's key and then took them to the Emperor with the instant transmission.